Alumnus welcomes you all to the webinar series Future You Set Your Career Compass Right with Experts Insight, and I am your host Kalyani for this webinar. So today our topic is how to build a career in brand management, and today we will be talking about the roles and responsibilities of a brand manager, the career progression of the speaker, and how an MBA played a role in his current profession and in his career path, how to crack a brand management interview, what are the interviewers looking for in a brand manager, what are the kind of skill sets that are required, impact of AI and ML on brand management, growth opportunities in this field, and more. So let's welcome our speaker today. We have Abhishek Varughese. He is a Deputy Manager Marketing at Amul, India. And Abhishek is an alumnus of MICA Ahmedabad. Welcome, Abhishek Varughese, and thank you so much for being here for this session.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning, Kalyani, and thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Okay, so let's start from your career journey from graduation to MICA, and then how exactly Amul happened, and then of course we can talk about your being from brand manager to deputy manager marketing and all that. Yeah. So
Sure,
let's yeah.
sure. So I'm actually an engineer, an electrical electronics engineer by education. I completed it from University Vishweshwaraya College of Engineering, which is in Bangalore. This institution was founded by Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, who is also known as the father of engineering. So it's a pretty old institution. Post completion, I went to work for 2 years. I was in advertising sales for a recruitment portal called freshersworld.com. Uh,
Yeah.
and there, in that particular role, I had to, do business development, which means I have to go and meet out training institutions, colleges, advertising agencies, and then also brands. And that way, try to get some kind of a way, a business relationship, and then various advertising campaigns, which can be run on our platform. So that was my initial 2 years of sales that I did. That experience helped me a lot because during one of those instances where I was meeting the brand manager of Adobe uh, for a campaign. So
Mm.
he started, and I was very keen on doing my MBA eventually after. I was clear that after my engineering, I need to work for 2 years because then I probably would be able to appreciate what I want to.
Correct.
That was my intent, uh,
Mm-hmm.
just a thought which I had at that time.
Okay.
And so when I met this gentleman, he was talking about doing a campaign for various B schools, and he talked to me about MICA, and MICA has to be in your pool of colleges. I was like, why MICA? I mean, I've heard of IIMs, I've heard of
Hmm.
ISBs of the world. Why not? Why this? Then he gave me some perspective about it, and I was like, okay, this looks pretty interesting. So then I applied.
Hmm.
And then I mean, we had a very interesting interview process and
Yeah.
group activities that they do. So in 2013, 2 years after my first work experience, I joined MICA, and I did my specialization in brand management. There are various courses it offers specialization. There's advertising management, there is media, there's even for digital back then, they had a specialization and things like that. So I did my major in brand management, and I was also a gold medalist in it. Subsequently, I did my minor in digital because I had a prior experience, so I kept it as my minor. Then, uh, fortunately, I would say I got a chance to work with Amul, uh,
Hmm.
and I'm still here. It's 9 years
Yeah.
now.
9 years. Yeah.
And
Okay.
during
Yeah.
this journey, I've been stationed in various locations also. Initially, it was in Bangalore, then I worked in Ludhiana, and I'm now in the head office, Anand.
Okay.
Um, there are various, I mean, if you look at in why I chose brand management as a course, I mean, the
Hmm.
reason
Hmm.
is it lies back in the fact that I worked in sales initially.
Hmm.
And in the advertising industry, if you see, there are three layers, three elements in the structure. There are the advertisers, there are the agencies, and there are publishers. So I worked initially as a publisher, so I understood what the role demands, what are the expectations, and I was more fascinated with what is on the other side of the spectrum, the
Okay.
polar opposite.
Hmm.
And that's how the fascination came. And then I had to prepare for that, as time went by. And that's, I think, in the most simplest way,
Hmm.
my journey
Okay.
until
Okay.
joining Amul.
Okay. Tell me, you've had a long journey with brand management. So, what are your learnings? And also, are there any? Is there anything in particular that you would have liked to do differently? Or something that you really did perfectly, and you're glad that you did it. So yeah, so both
I,
sides of the coin.
See, there are many things that, you know,
Mm.
when you look in retrospect, there are many
Mm.
things that you would like to correct.
Huh.
You know, but one thing which I, when I was, while thinking aloud, I was one thing which really made an impact to me was that there are a lot of, see, everybody, you know, all those people who are watching this session right now, they would be confused. They would be having a lot of stress. They would be
Mm.
thinking, is whatever I'm doing, it's unpredictable, you know, whether it's the
Correct.
right thing, it's the wrong thing. So one thing which I now when I think in retrospect, I tell myself is it's okay, you will survive and you will
Mm.
thrive. You know, you
Yeah.
just keep calm. You
Mm.
know, the more you fixate on something, you will get stressed, and it is part of the process. So you
Correct.
need to trust the process, keep trying, and just stay calm.
Mm.
You know, this too shall pass, as they say.
Okay.
The other thing
Mm.
which
Mm.
you know, which I feel which really helped me, you know, the second part of your question is my experience prior to MBA. You know, that gave me a
Okay.
lot of perspective.
Mm.
Because
Correct.
see, when I joined MICA, I had a batch who had students from various backgrounds. You know,
Yeah.
not just engineers. You know, there's the gender parity, which is at MICA 50-50%.
Yeah.
Then you have a lot of people from different backgrounds. I had a civil pilot, you know, with me.
Mm.
I
Okay.
had a lot of chartered accountants with me. I had
Mm.
people from arts background, commerce background.
Mm.
So these are, and that brings in a lot of different perspective, you know.
Correct. Yeah.
And many of them were freshers also. So
Mm.
being a experienced person with
Correct.
and working with a different environment, that background gives you keeps you sane, you know, keeps you
Correct.
prepared for
Mm.
you know, to deal with different type of people, to work with different type, because you'll have a lot of work assigned to you as projects assigned to you.
Correct.
So getting along with people is very important, uh,
Mm.
and getting the job done also is very important. So I think
Mm.
that has helped me, and even today it continues to do so.
In Amul, in brand management, you have worked in Bangalore, you have worked in Ludhiana, which is like from south to north, and now in Anand. So tell me, as a brand manager, we will talk about the roles and responsibilities in a bit, but as a brand manager, how did that change your perspective or your approach to the same function in the same company but in different locations? So as a brand manager, does it change drastically? Things, the way you look and the way you approach every project.
Right.
Mm.
You know, when you join Amul or any other FMCG, you join as
Mm.
a management trainee. And I was, along with me, there were students from IM, I had from Nirma, and many other various B schools.
Mm.
So initially you are given a 3 month, you know, intensive induction program, where you work across departments, work across functions, and you do a lot of sales, because that is
Mm.
essential to brand management. So in my first stint in Bangalore, I did that. Subsequently, I got an opportunity also to work in Ludhiana in sales. We were
Mm.
launching fresh milk in 2015. So right in the winter of November, December of 2015 in Punjab, we were doing that. That
Mm.
gives you a lot of perspective about what is the business, you know, how
Okay.
critical are the stakeholders in the business. And all of this actually helps you when you become a brand manager, because when you are a brand manager, most probably you will be working at the head office of you know, any organization, and sitting there you have to think, work, and collaborate with people on various challenges that may come your way. So it's, you know, for example, I often say this, share this fear, you know, with anybody who is newly joining, or whenever I get a chance to meet somebody from MICA when I go there on campus,
Mm.
is that it's very easy. If I ask somebody to make a campaign pitch, they would do very well. They'll give me a nice presentation. They would give me a nice run through of it conceptually, and that's where the theory ends,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
How you can go about, because the models are there, the methodologies are there, but doing it actually, is a different ball game. And to do that correctly, you need to have hands-on information,
Yeah.
and that you get if you have worked in the field. You know who are the people with whom you have to collaborate to get it done. You need to also be sensitive to the problems they face. A
Correct.
classic case, which I would like to share is,
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic,
Yeah.
the whole country was in lockdown. We were working on a campaign. We actually, we were thinking, what do we do, because the whole country is locked down and we were in essential good services. So our organization was ensuring throughout the country various dairy products, especially pouch milk, was being distributed every single day. Now, around this time, we knew that the chef community, the hotel industry, was locked down as well, and
Mm-hmm.
consumers, much like everybody in this meeting, were also stuck at home with their families, right? And there's nothing that you can do, and everybody goes hungry when you're at home, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you'll get bored also eating the same food again and
Yeah.
again and again.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked out a model. We did a live cooking show. Okay, we had a team of about 10 people. It was led by the current MD, Mr. Jayan Mehta, who was back then head of marketing. And so we had salespeople connecting with chefs across the country. uh, and sitting at head office, we had to do the entire thing live from their
Mm-hmm.
homes,
Mm-hmm.
and teach them how to do the live also, because nobody had done live cooking. People, you would have seen a lot of shows where cooking happens.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
in a studio
Mm.
setup. Everything is
Correct.
controlled. Here it was live. So, and
Mm.
using, and that at that point in 2020, Facebook Live was a big thing,
Mm.
right? So understanding what platform to use, understanding how the customer behaves, understanding what your other key stakeholder, the hotel industry is suffering, and at the same time, very subtly showcasing the versatility of your product, how it could be used in Indian cuisines and international cuisines. So
Mm.
here there's a lot of not just planning, but execution had to be very key.
Correct.
So we started it back then, 2020. Today, fortunately, I would say we have completed 1,422 days of the same, which are more than 3 years. We are
Mm.
still continuing doing about 6,900 live cooking shows every day, including today. There are 5 sessions happening.
Okay.
So, so what I'm trying to say is, as an idea, it looks very nice, but
Mm.
when, everybody, but to implement it, that's a
Correct.
difference,
Yes.
an MBA does, that's a difference that your sales experience does, that's a difference that, working with so many different people or different backgrounds helps you.
Mm.
So that I think is the what the beauty lies in this business.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the roles and responsibilities of a brand manager. Now, also, is it industry agnostic or is it like, because now Amul will have a very different kind of an approach because it's an FMCG sector, but then maybe automobile industry might have a different kind of brand management, or is it very different from one industry to the other? So if you can take it in two parts. One is what exactly are the roles and responsibilities of a brand manager overall, and then if it is different, where all it is bifurcating.
Okay, fair.
Hmm.
So I would say 80 to 85% of the roles for brand manager are same across
Okay.
organizations, right?
Okay.
Because it's a very central role in the
Hmm.
organization structure, if you see. Because whatever product or service you're offering to the customer, somebody has to be responsible to get it done, right? But to get it done, there will be multiple people who will be doing it, within sub departments. Let's say, for example, I'll give you a simple example here. Let's say I have a product like Amul butter, right? Now, Amul butter will be sold in different parts of the country by different sales officers of our organization. At the same time, there will also be somebody in the back end whose job is to manufacture the product.
Hmm.
There's also somebody responsible for ensuring the packaging of the product is correct, and
Okay.
every single time that packaging is available. Somebody
Hmm.
also has to be responsible for ensuring that we are following the tax norms of the country. Somebody
Right.
also has to be responsible to understand the legal norms of the country for packaging, for food products, etc. Right? So it is, and so you cannot have one single brand manager who knows everything,
Yeah.
right? And there are, as I said, there are different people who are doing different things. So the brand manager's role is therefore a key central role who has to liaison with different type of people. And as and when there will be challenges or problems in the market, be prepared for it and find a solution to get it corrected, on time.
Okay.
Because so that's where so if now you take Amul butter aside, you put in an
Hmm.
automobile vehicle,
Hmm.
it's the same scenario. If you
Okay.
have to make a car, if you have to make a bike or a car, somebody has to sell it. It'll be somebody across the country. There
Right.
will be a lot of emission norms. There will be a lot of safety norms. So there has to be
Hmm.
somebody who understands the legal aspect of it, the quality aspect of it, the safety norms of it. There also has to be somebody who license with the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, from the supply point. And then there has to be a factory where everything gets assembled and tested. And so in across organizations, the function of a brand manager is to liaison with different people and get the thing done and ensure the brand is established and experienced in the right manner in which this
Correct.
thing. One critical thing which I have left for intentionally at the end to say is the marketing part of it, the brand, the communication part of it, or the
Hmm.
advertising part of it. That is
Correct.
also
Yeah.
central to all of them, you know. But
Right.
that, because many a time people assume that brand managing is all about doing the advertising campaign.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's not,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
It's part of the job. It's not the job. There is a difference, right?
Okay.
So across organizations, across different industries, uh, the brand manager will always be there. Now the difference might be per se ki what are the terminologies probably used, or some
Hmm.
additional functions might come in and go, you know from one industry to another industry. But more or less 80 to 85% of the times, it's the same thing that they are doing. Some
Okay.
places they may call it product manager, some places they may call it brand manager,
Okay.
somewhere some other terminology might be growth
Okay.
specialist,
Hmm.
and so on and so forth. So that's a term that happens in the industry, that what I
Okay.
would say.
Okay. So tell me something. Is it the brand manager who is also responsible for deciding when and how which product the same product, say, okay, paneer for that matter, the same product being marketed or being branded in a different manner in different regions, because maybe in say during Janmashtami and all, obviously, more milk products will be sold, but it's more northern part of India which will be having it. But whereas, so at the same time, the same product, the same company is doing very different branding and advertising and everything in other regions where maybe some other festival is going on, and all that. So, how exactly is that also something that the brand manager decides, or is it like the regional sales or regional marketing departments are deciding?
Right. No, it is
Hmm.
definitely what a brand manager has to do. But
Okay.
again, like you said,
Hmm.
they cannot do it on their own. So if, let's say, for example, Janmashtami hai, right?
Hmm.
People would there will be a lot of consumption of milk.
Correct.
So the brand manager should prepare for Janmashtami in advance
So, with the operations
with the
department, right?
operations department,
Okay.
with the procurement team,
Procurement.
ensuring that
Okay.
sufficient volumes of milk is coming,
Correct.
ensuring sufficient for packaging of milk or is done and time, on ensuring sufficient vehicles are there to
Hmm.
dispatch and distribute the product in market,
Correct.
and also getting sales orders proportionately,
Hmm.
so the entire thing happens. But along with this, they also need to come up with various communications to reach out to people, you
Okay.
know
Hmm.
and then, like you said, some, if let's say Janmashtami is happening in, say, western part of India,
Hmm.
and parallelly, say, in South India or Eastern or North or any other state or district,
Hmm.
some other event is happening.
Correct.
They
Yeah.
need to be prepared for those scenarios as well. So everything has to be planned in advance. And again, when you're planning, you need to also take feedback or inputs from the regional sales teams. because
Correct.
they know the ground reality, as I shared before. For example, the same, for example, language, culture, the way a festival celebrated,
Correct. Yeah.
it would vary.
Of course. Yeah. The
In
whole of
the
India is different.
Correct. So
Yeah.
I'll share a simple example
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
When a couple of years, I think 2021
Hmm.
was the year when we realized this is a major thing to prepare for,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
Amul as a brand was always known, and for, I would say, we are in the Amul as a brand is there for the last 77 years.
Hmm.
But today India is very diverse, or is more vocal in what they want to experience and talk about.
Hmm.
So if you're talking to a customer in a part of India in English or Hindi, there is a certain restriction to you,
Correct.
right? So if you're going to South, there are 4 different languages in 5 states. If you go to East, there are about 9 to 10 different states having different languages. You go further
Correct.
north, again there is a,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
we created different teams, different so on social media per se, where today there are about in Amul speaks on social media through 77 social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snap, link, and YouTube, etc., in 12 languages. So apart from
Correct.
English, Hindi,
Hmm.
there is
Hmm.
Punjabi, there is Marathi, uh, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Odia, Bangla, Assamese, Sindhi, and
Okay.
for the international customers in the Gulf region,
Hmm.
and Arabic.
Okay. Hmm.
So your customer, so, and the conversation that are happening there are independent of the conversation happening in the national Hindi, because
Okay.
the communication is more suited to that particular geography, the festivities that are happening in that particular state or among those people. So that is the way in which we, in a month, roughly about 300, 320 posts go out every day, one post in one language.
Hmm.
And we have a cumulative reach in a month of about 230 million people.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
through one media, through
Hmm.
multiple languages, the multiplier effect of connecting with,
Correct.
like, I speak Malayalam, I speak Kannada, right? But if some, and I also know English and Hindi. But if you were
Correct.
to reach out to me and say something in Malayalam, it would
Hmm.
connect with me at a more emotional level than something in English and Hindi, right?
Right.
The same thing
Correct.
applies to anybody else. So
Hmm.
therefore, the brand teams, and here again, the brand teams and the sales team work together to get that output done.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's take a few questions and then we'll move to the next
Sure.
bit. Okay. Obviously, this is also my question, that is brand management similar to what product management is, or is it different? As in, or is it company? I mean, every company has got a new designation, or is it the same work
No,
actually?
as I said,
Is
it's
there?
it's
No.
the same thing. It's the
Hmm.
same thing.
Hmm. Okay.
The only change is the definition in the terminologies in the
Okay.
industry. So if you are
Okay.
in an IT firm, it
Hmm.
would be not called a brand manager. It probably would be called a product manager,
Product manager, correct.
right? More so
Hmm.
than not. But when you come to an FMCG industry,
Hmm.
it could, or a, no, even for a matter, a
Hmm.
telecom industry or automobile industry, it would be a brand manager.
Hmm. Correct. Okay. As brand management involves a lot of understanding the psychographics of consumers. So how to start and enhance all these skills from scratch. So let's take this with my question about. Can you tell us about the skill sets that are required? Maybe
Sure,
three hard skills and three soft skills that you must have, or maybe you can develop those skills for brand management. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
See, let me give some
Hmm.
context to it, and then I will come to
Okay.
the skills that you need to master
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
work on.
Hmm.
Um, the role, as I said, is there's a large part of which is licensing, or
Hmm.
getting things done. So you'll be and when you're licensing with different types of people, you are exposed to a lot of information. Okay, and
Okay.
here, therefore, the things that you really need to understand is number one, soft skills. Good communication skill is, and good and clear communication skills is essential.
Okay.
Because there will also be a situation where for example, if I have a problem on packaging
Hmm.
and I need to speak with my legal team, I need to
Hmm.
only discuss with him the legal mandates. I don't need to give him the whole brand story.
Correct. Okay.
Correct. Because I need to understand and then getting that right information, I need to inform my agency who's doing the artwork that because of these legal mandates, these are the three checkpoints that we need to fulfill.
Hmm.
So again,
Okay.
getting all the information, processing it, and then communicating in the correct manner to the correct individual,
Hmm.
that
Correct.
information has to be so that kind of understanding is important, and also that passing on the right information to the correct person is critical. So that
Okay.
role, that understanding is critical here. So soft skills
Okay.
and good communication skills is very important.
Okay.
Second part is problem solving,
Hmm.
because like I said, this job will demand you to face a lot of challenges every single day.
Hmm.
And there, I can assure you, not a single day has passed by where sometimes it's a small problem, sometimes it's a big problem, but it will always be there because it's a live thing, it's a
Correct. Yeah.
entity, and
Hmm.
that's what makes it exciting also at the same time.
Hmm.
So you need to come up with solutions, even if you don't know, seek out help from somebody. And there'll be, and I can assure you, there are in organizations there are plenty of people who have faced similar situations in the past, so they know how to guide you. You know,
Right.
could be your
Hmm.
peer, it could be your senior, or it could be a person completely from a different vertical with whom you have never worked.
Hmm.
So be flexible to reach out to people, and therefore problem solving is critical. And I think one thing that most organizations value, I think not most, I think every organization values is integrity.
Right. Okay.
That's a very
Hmm.
important soft skill, because if you make a mistake, it's okay, because you will never learn if you don't make mistakes, and which is what I tell myself also, that I made a lot of mistakes in in my life, and I have always learned something from it. you know but don't try to make the same mistakes again. That's it's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
uh,
Okay. Hmm.
I think owning up your mistakes and getting the right kind of uh,
Hmm.
solutions to them is also
Hmm.
important. So therefore, I
Hmm.
think the three soft skills that you should have
Yeah. Hmm.
is effective communication,
Correct.
having some problem solving skills,
Right.
or that attitude, to
Hmm.
solve,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then
And
integrity,
integrity. Okay.
right?
Hmm.
Some hard skills which I think you should now work on, focus upon, because this job also demands a lot of data analysis,
Okay.
because there will be constantly a lot of information, as I said, will be coming out to you. It could be about the sales that you're doing in certain markets. You let's say you're responsible for a product, but within a product there will be probably 10 different types of packaging formats. There might be, and it might be selling in different parts of the country, and
Hmm.
demand in North India, or let's say in Punjab, might be different from Gujarat, from Tamil
Right.
Nadu, or Madhya Pradesh. So you will be exposed to a lot of information in
Hmm.
spreadsheets every single day. So taking that in, and using your Excel skills here,
Correct.
to
Hmm.
uh, get the right information out, creating your own templates of reports, that helps you. So
Hmm.
I think Excel is a very good skill that you need to know. PowerPoint to theek hai, it's anyways you'll do it, but
Yeah.
Excel
Hmm.
is very important.
Hmm.
Another thing, as I said, is multitasking. Like
Yeah.
from all the roles that I explained, the picture is very clear. It's a multitasking role.
Hmm.
So being able to do that is critical, and you have to mentally prepare yourself. कि ये सब चलता रहेगा parallelly. There will be 10 different jobs that I will be doing, but it has to be done.
Correct.
And while you're doing the multitasking, good
Hmm.
time management,
Time
because
management. Yeah.
uh, it is
Hmm.
it is never going to stop,
Hmm.
and you need to find a way to stop, or get things done and stop yourself from overexerting also.
Correct.
So understanding which jobs are critical to be done, in priority one, which can be done, say, priority two, which can be done, say, a few hours later. That prioritization is where your time management comes. So I think the three skills, which are hard skills, which should be worked upon, are Excel, uh, good multitasking, and
Hmm.
that comes again with practice, and
Hmm.
time management
And
again.
time
So all the
management.
three are practice
Hmm.
driven. uh,
Hmm.
uh, hard skills that you think you should focus on.
Okay. Tell me something. Is it also like, since you said that obviously as a brand manager you have to talk to various stakeholders and various departments. You have to do all that. As in, people from different backgrounds will be also there. And you have to work with all of them together. So, is it necessary that for a successful brand manager you need to be a people person, or rather very comfortable with people or communicating in the sense? Like if you are an extrovert, then you thrive in this particular career. But if you're an introvert, you might struggle in
No,
some
no,
way. Is that
no, I don't
no?
think that would be a
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
Because see, your personality,
Huh.
it's extrovert or introvert,
Hmm.
is something very individual to you, right? It's more in
Hmm.
your personal space.
Correct.
The moment you
Correct.
come to
True.
a workspace environment,
Hmm. Hmm.
the environment will mold you, will prepare you, and expose you also to situations where you
Hmm.
have to work.
Okay.
And it may, for some people, let me put it this way: for some people, it will be easier to start off. For
Hmm.
some people, it may take some time,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
it is not impossible for anybody to not work. Because as I said, I have seen people with different personalities, work and get the job done.
Hmm.
It
Okay.
has never stopped anybody from performing.
Hmm.
So I don't think that will be an issue for anybody.
And also another thing that people think is like, if you're a brand manager and you have to work, obviously, do all these branding stuff and all that. So you need to be very creative. Is it true, or it's just something that somebody else is doing? I mean, you
No,
just
no.
have to.
So you no, no. If you are creative, it's good. If
Yeah.
you're not creative, it's
Hmm.
not bad. Let me
It's
put it
not
that way.
bad.
Okay.
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 There
Hmm.
is no thumb rule ki if you are a creative person, uh, that you will be. So I like to answer this in a different way.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
is creativity is not about just arts or
Hmm.
getting the right font or the getting the right music in track.
Correct.
Creativity can also come in getting the right information out in an Excel.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
if like
Hmm.
I tell you that there is a 1 lakh data points, and I want you
Hmm.
to find a solution, hit me a solution. You can be
Correct.
creative in using your Excel formulas to get the output, from it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or
Correct.
you can also be creative in in the way in which you speak to somebody
Hmm.
and influence them to get the job
Hmm.
done.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the creativity varies, across the kind of
Hmm.
skill sets that you have.
Right.
And of course, with again, as I said, everything is learnable. So if you
Hmm.
don't have some skill sets that you feel puts you down, no. Let me assure
Okay.
you, we all learn and we all can do much better in our
Hmm.
lives.
Okay. Okay. What is the most successful campaign that you did for Amul, and in what metric do you measure its success rate?
Okay. Uh, that's a bit challenging to say one. Uh, but I think the campaigns I've been fortunate to work on various initiatives in the organization. Um, and the most successful one, if I wouldn't say this is the most successful, but it is one of the most challenging and therefore more rewarding to do. Is the one which I just explained. Doing the live recipes, because just put to some numbers into perspective, give the scale at which we had to work.
Okay.
Uh, we have a network of today. We have built a network of 3,300 chefs.
Okay.
Okay, from 50 plus countries,
Hmm.
who have done live cooking on our Facebook page and who continue to do this for about 1,400 days, right? And 6,900 sessions. So that there's a lot of complexity in the making of it, or
Yeah.
because not everybody is comfortable to come online and
Hmm.
speak and
Yeah.
cook
Hmm.
and do a good job at it, right?
Correct.
Some
Hmm.
people are comfortable in a particular language.
Hmm.
So getting that kind of a network in place, getting a system in place, a process in place, took time.
Yeah.
Because
Hmm.
when we started, even we didn't know how this will scale up. Let me
Okay.
be very honest about it. The intent back then was very different from the intent which we are building today.
Mm. Correct.
Today
Yeah.
the same experience, because when the very first session had to do, I had to go with my phone
Mm.
to a resort and actually shoot with a chef cooking. That's how
Okay.
I learned that
Hmm.
cooking can be done with my
Okay.
phone, right?
Correct.
So if I
Mm.
could do it, if I know the
Mm.
ways and around it, I can teach somebody else.
Mm.
So every single session, I would personally, whenever I would get a booking from my colleagues across the country, uh, we would then we would have to set up a session. We would create posters. So we had to speak to our agency. The agency would then give us the creatives. The creatives go live, and
Mm.
then automatically the next phase that happens is you have to teach each chef how to do the live.
Okay.
So initially we were doing 11 lives, 12 lives in a day. And the
Mm.
peak we did was 24 hours live.
Okay.
So we
Mm.
had, so we experiment with, so we were not just as an advertiser in the industry, we were a content creator. So
Okay.
that's where you
Mm.
learn various other skill sets. Ki what is the production house work? Because when you work
Correct.
like a production house, you understand the pain points, the
Yes.
challenges.
Hmm.
So I think that for me has been very fulfilling to learn, and it is going through this grind of working from the bottom up that is prepared me to do extend it to any other format. So again,
Hmm.
cut to a year later, we had live quiz on Amul's
Hmm.
Facebook page.
Okay.
We did this for a year, where every Sunday at 9 p.m., a colleague of mine would go online. She would
Okay.
ask
Hmm.
people 20 questions, and we had an online quizzing portal dedicated
Hmm.
created just for this.
Okay.
And then the winners would get cash prizes on their bank accounts directly.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
So there are different
Hmm.
aspects. There's a financial aspect, there is set content curation, then going live, and in the background somebody like me has to sit and ensure the systems are in check, the
Correct.
experience is good, and
Hmm.
things like that. So
Hmm.
what I'm trying to say, these are the kind of experiences that make me feel very happy and proud of the way in which I've been able to contribute
Correct.
and learn a lot many things.
Hmm.
So today I can, if somebody wants to do something similar in the organization, I can guide them better,
Correct.
because
Yeah.
I have been through
Hmm.
the same grind.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about brand management from entry level to senior level,
Mhm.
and where should one start? As in, okay, let's take this hypothesis that the person has already done their MBA and has got through placement. So for that person, where exactly how the career progression happens? And does a brand manager ever reach a level of CXO or a CEO and all that? I mean, yeah.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
that. And of course, and then the second part of the question is, if the person is a non-MBA, then how much of a where do they start? And would you because there was a question also about that would you recommend a person, like all our attendees are usually like the ones, some of them have taken CAT in 23 and are right now preparing for GDPI and all that and waiting for their calls. And then we have the CAT 24 students who are preparing for CAT. So now for them, do you recommend them to take up some internship or do some kind of experience before getting into brand management, something like this? Yeah. So first, let's talk about the entry level to senior level. Then we'll
Okay.
take this.
So
Yeah.
I think that made up 3, 4 questions. So I'll
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
very
yeah. So
quick.
entry level, okay, yeah, entry
Okay.
level to senior level. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So typically, if when you join in the
Hmm.
brand management function, you start as a brand executive or an assistant brand manager. Again, the name varies from
Okay, yeah.
organization to organization,
Hmm.
but the
Hmm.
role is here to get the things done. You're more an
Okay.
executive. I would like to use the word executive because it's more relatable to the word execution.
Correct. Okay.
So your
Hmm.
role and the definition of the role and the role name are more similar.
Hmm.
Here, you whether it's like I said initially, market specific interventions you need to do. Say
Okay.
example, butter. 100 grams
Hmm.
of butter is doing really well in a particular market city.
Hmm.
but you have launched 200-gram butter. So can you change the customer behavior and upgrade them from 100-gram to a 200-gram?
Right.
How will
Okay.
you do it? Of
Mhm.
course, your seniors would tell you कि ये करना है, कैसे करेंगे. There'll be ideation, but then eventually it comes down to you to get it done.
Yeah.
So does price point make a benefit to the customer? Does the packaging give some convenience to the customer? Does the retail shop where the customer can go and buy, does that make a difference? So we're using various factors. You need to plan and methodically get the job done. So I think so that's where you are at the entry level. Now,
Hmm.
cut to a couple of years of doing this, you will get a fair understanding of what needs to be done in different markets and different type of products. Uh, then you eventually become a middle management individual, could be a brand manager or senior brand manager or a brand head for that matter. Here, the role changes from an execution to more of a strategy, and you
Okay.
also have more brands under you. Like,
Hmm.
you will not be just responsible for one brand. You may have three, four brands under you, and within each brand, you will have dedicated brand executive or brand managers in things like that. So
Right.
that's like the way the structure creates.
Hmm.
And here you need to think much more louder, much more in a future perspective than just what is happening today. You need to keep both the sides of balance.
Okay.
And this helps you, with time, with experience, with the situations that you have dealt with, you become more of a general manager, say a couple of years
Hmm.
of that experience.
Okay. Okay.
So anybody who has to, become a CX or a CEO of an
Hmm.
organization,
Hmm.
I think the skills that you need to be is not of marketing, it's
Okay.
actually of an administrator,
Okay.
because
Hmm.
you have to understand when the moment you are a CEO or a CX or in any cadre, you're not just looking at one function, but you're looking after multiple departments with different function sets.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you need to have an understanding of finances. You need to have an understanding of legal. You need to have some understanding of packaging, purchasing, good negotiation skills,
Hmm.
sales, and marketing and communication, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
now the question that anybody would ask, would I become a CXO in 10 years
Hmm.
or 15
Hmm.
years or
Hmm.
30 years?
Yeah.
So different organization will give you different experience, career journey for this. But I think it takes time,
Hmm.
and the more you have experience, or with time, with years of experience and different scenarios, you will become a better CXO and CEO, and that is definitely going to happen. That's not going to stop you or anywhere,
Okay. Hmm.
but that helps you.
Okay. Okay, so now tell me, if someone is, would you recommend everybody to have some amount of work experience before starting off in brand management, or even for that matter, getting into doing an MBA? Does it help? I mean, it helped you for
It helped
sure.
me.
Yeah.
It definitely helped me. It does not
Hmm.
mean that it won't help anybody who is not
Hmm. Hmm.
having that experience.
Yeah.
See, because I said I had my colleagues, my batchmates,
Hmm. Hmm.
who had, some of them had experience, some of did not have. Even when I
Okay.
joined Amul, there were some of my
Who were
management trainees who were
freshers.
freshers
Okay.
and who had
Hmm.
experience.
Okay.
Uh, there is no problem if you
Hmm.
don't have OKEX. If you
Hmm.
have, it just helps you
It
become a
just
better
helps.
person.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can evaluate and deal with problems in a much more better way.
Hmm.
That time gap, see what you're losing out. I wouldn't say losing out. What you're taking time to grasp and attend to might
Hmm.
become faster if you are
Correct.
having experience. If you don't have, take
Hmm.
experience through projects, take experience
Correct.
through internships.
Hmm.
And again, I always say that don't do internship where you have to sit in an office and work on the laptop.
Okay.
Do an internship where you have to be on the field,
Correct.
on the street,
Hmm.
and get, that's where you learn,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
Okay, so what are the kind of okay, where should one begin if somebody is already interested and knows that okay, brand management really excites me and I would like to get into that. Now that they're preparing for CAT as well, so where do you think they should begin? Where can they start? As in, how do you find these internships? And also, are there any certification courses and all that might help them? Yeah.
I would give
Hmm.
two answers to this.
Huh. There are two
Yeah,
questions
yeah.
actually.
So,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So definitely there are a lot of internships being offered, live projects being offered by organizations. Okay.
Hmm.
Here you may not come to know about them because they may not be in public domain. Some
Okay.
of them would be, if you
Hmm.
go to a recruitment portal, any or LinkedIn or Naukri, some of them would list them, some
Hmm.
of them may not. Okay.
Hmm.
But
Correct.
if you reach out to these individuals, directly to recruitment, to the HRs of this company or the brand managers of this company or anybody else, sales
Hmm.
officers also, they would have some projects for which they need somebody to work for a few months. You know,
Okay.
if they
Hmm.
have, they will guide you. Some of it would be paid, some of it would be free.
Hmm.
Across industry, across places, it varies. That's one part of how you can approach it and do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then if for those who are going to join an MB school, when you are in your college, of course, your B school will also give you opportunities to do these things, projects or internships. So please do that as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the easiest way, I think, that if you want to learn about this, and the easiest person to approach is go to the
Hmm.
nearest shop
Hmm.
from your home, or go to the nearest fruit seller or vegetable seller.
Hmm.
I'll give a simple reason for that. Think for a second, forget that you are buying that product, but think from a person who wants to know how they do it. So you need to
Okay.
understand that person who is selling fruits and vegetables to you every single day.
Hmm.
He knows how much he needs to purchase so that he can sell that in the market the same day. He doesn't have storage space, right? वो भिंडी हो, टमाटर हो,
Correct.
एप्पल
Yeah.
हो, मैंगो हो,
Hmm.
for example.
Hmm.
Then, so that is inventory management. That is
Hmm.
planning. That is
Hmm.
supply chain logic.
Hmm. Yeah.
What we say in
Hmm.
MBA, right?
Hmm.
Then he needs to know at what price to sell to you.
Correct. Yeah.
He cannot
Hmm.
overprice you because he knows the moment he
Hmm.
overprices, you'll go to the next shop.
Correct. Yeah.
There is relationship building here, because that's why
Hmm.
in a market where there are 10 shops, you'll go to that one shop every single time.
Yes. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay?
True.
And he does door-to-door marketing also, right? Every single morning, what thela leke ghumta rahega, he will
Correct. Correct.
all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So forget the fact that
Hmm.
you're a customer, but think from
Hmm.
a person who wants to understand management. Here is a classic case of how they're doing it. And if you want to replace the fruit seller, go to the nearest kirana shop, speak to that
Correct.
uncle जो बचपन से
Hmm.
आपको चॉकलेट खिलाते रहे हैं so
Yeah.
just take 5 minutes of his time, and
Hmm.
I can assure you he will be happy to teach you these things,
Correct.
share some of the
Yeah.
experience.
That's
And
true.
there is so much that you can learn from these people.
Yeah.
You,
In
of
fact,
course,
yeah, I had asked once, like I was just curious about the vegetable vendor who used to give us regularly his vegetable. So he was only selling, potato and tomato. Now the thing is, and at the end, towards the end of the day, I would ask him like, what do you do when he bika to kya kiya? So he would say like, he has some setting with some local restaurants. He
correct,
just gives those there and he gets like a little less maybe, but then he at least he's able to sell it off.
correct,
And he knows at the end of the day, even if it is not getting sold, otherwise he'll make profit from somewhere else. So he used
exactly.
to do that.
Exactly.
Which is very interesting.
So that's what I'm saying. The moment you
Yeah,
change your
correct.
perspective,
Hmm.
you will appreciate so much that is happening in around you.
Yeah,
You know,
true. Yeah,
this, I mean, these are all the concepts that you are studying in a B school, but
correct.
we very often fail to apply them in the real world.
Yes.
So I think
Yeah.
this would be the
Hmm.
simplest. Unfortunately, you don't get a certificate for this.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
but
yeah, what are the certification courses?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, when you do an internship or a live project, most of the
Hmm.
organizations will, I
They'll
mean,
give
say
you.
every organization here
Hmm.
would definitely give you a certificate, which is a
Correct.
very valuable thing when you
Hmm.
go, when you apply for jobs anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
This all, and also, as I said, if you take this outreach to, because
Hmm.
as I said, many of these jobs or many of these projects may not be available to you, on the portals of the company also, or any other job recruitment firm. So this is another a sales tactic called, cold calling.
Yes.
So
Okay.
you will learn that skill. You will face a lot of rejections, but
Hmm.
that
Correct.
also
Yeah.
prepares you mentally to be. So even if you don't have work experience, you're
Hmm.
a fresher, try this. And
Yeah.
I can assure you, you will learn so much things that when you sit for your interviews or when whether it's in a
Yeah.
year or it's a year later, you can have so much you have learned so much that you could share or build yourself for a better career ahead.
Hmm. So is there any specific anything at all, like, if to understand maybe like certification courses on data analytics and all, does that
There are
help
so
for
no
brand
that see
management? Hmm.
if you want to do something on AI ML, you want to do any
Hmm.
data
Hmm.
analysis,
Hmm.
you want to do even Excel certification.
Hmm.
So there are various organizations which are doing it,
Correct.
and
And
some of them
also
are even
digital marketing,
digital
right?
marketing. Yes, yes. So
Hmm.
you
So
go
yeah, how
to
much of digital marketing is part of brand management? How much
it
of
is a
digital?
part of it. It is a
Okay,
part of
yeah.
it. As I
So can you
said,
explain that bit?
sure.
And yeah. Hmm.
Right. So, to go with digital marketing per se,
Hmm.
it is a subset of your mass media communication.
Correct.
Okay. So when you are in the job, you will have to think, "Okay, if I have 100 rupees, or let me give for perspective, you have 10 lakh rupees.
Hmm.
Okay. You need to put 10 lakh rupees in television, or you want to put in
Hmm.
press, you want to put in
Hmm.
radio, you want to
Yeah.
put on digital. Okay.
Hmm.
So as a person brand manager, you need to understand key which media reach helps you to reach out to what type of customer. Okay. What are
Hmm.
the ways in which you will be able to connect with them? For
Hmm.
example, in TV for 10 lakh rupees, let's say आप एक customer को एक ad 100 बार दिखा सकते हो.
Correct.
ठीक है. For the 10 lakh rupees, probably newspaper में 2 बार ad ले सकते हो. बड़े
Hmm.
size के.
Correct.
If you're doing on radio, you can make the person listen to you, but they
Hmm.
can't see and understand, visualize your brand.
Correct.
On digital marketing, you will have a Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, different types of ad formats, different customers, and different type of budgets there.
Hmm.
So the question, therefore, if you're looking at say digital marketing, and let's say if you decide कि आपको पहले 3 चीजें नहीं करनी है, and you want to reach out to somebody who's doing Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, here also you need to understand who is your customer that you're trying to reach out.
Okay.
For
Hmm.
example, with the data that you have, a good, I would say, 30 to 40% of India who are above the age of 30, 35 are more active on Facebook. And if you're reaching out to somebody who is in less than 30 years of age and actively using, then Instagram is your platform.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, this is one way of comparison, the kind of audience.
Okay.
Another factor that comes into play is uh, what is the format in which you're going to talk to the customer?
Hmm.
Do you want to, is it text driven? Is it image driven? Is it video driven?
Right.
Right? Again, each of these platforms behave differently.
Correct.
So you need to understand that. You
Hmm.
also need to understand how these platforms respond to algorithms. Sorry, how
Correct.
their algorithms respond to
Yeah. Hmm.
customers, right? Or the
Hmm.
content. For example, a simple logic is uh, uh, today, reels get the highest weight. When I say weight,
Yes. Hmm.
is distribution weight. So if
Correct.
you're putting a text message
Hmm. Hmm.
as image,
Hmm.
a long format video, and a
Hmm.
reel, right? Four
Okay.
types of content I've given example.
Right. Hmm.
And if you put on the same, let's say you put all of them on Facebook, the chances of your reels doing better than your long format is definitely going to be there. Your
Okay.
long format video will do better than your photograph, static
Hmm.
photo or static post.
Correct.
And
Hmm.
your static post will do better than your text message,
Right.
like a
Okay.
status update.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in one platform, so then as a brand manager, understanding this nuance
Hmm. Is
and
important.
is
Hmm.
important. Now cut
Correct.
to Instagram. What would
Hmm.
do well? A reel definitely would do well. That's why if you today you can't upload a long format video on an Instagram without
Hmm.
having the black bands at the top,
Correct. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it is forcing you to see a vertical format, right?
Right.
So it
Hmm.
is very tough, therefore, for brands to do. Then
Right.
collaboration posts get more weightage again. So
Okay.
so in digital marketing, it is just not कि आपने किसी को पैसे दे दिए और किसी को बोला कि तो कर दो. नहीं.
Hmm. Hmm.
You need to have a good basic understanding. I'm not saying
Correct.
depth understanding, a basic understanding of what these behaviors are, what these
Correct.
platforms do, and then spend your money accordingly.
Right. Yeah,
So,
got
so
it.
that, so if like this, you take digital marketing, it could be even SEO marketing, which is
Hmm.
or search engine optimization. It could be how to design your website, how to do your
Yeah.
D2C. If you are or launching your own D2C platform, how understanding the web traffic to your page.
Hmm.
What are the keywords which will
Correct.
drive people from a Google
Right.
to your website? And then what are the parameters which are helping them to purchase the
Hmm.
product and not midway just add to cart and leave,
Hmm.
so
Okay.
understanding the journey. So all these are part of digital marketing.
Okay. And all these are part of digital marketing, but also these are basically it's a part of brand managing,
Yes, yes,
right? So
yes,
as a
definitely.
brand manager, you need to understand the nuances of the digital marketing bits
Correct,
because
correct.
how do you yeah, get views for
Yes,
your particular brand and all that. Tell
correct.
me, there were quite a few questions about. One was about if you were in a three-tier city, how do you approach? Where can you get an internship? How do you do that? As in, yeah, and then yeah, first that one,
Okay.
then.
So
Hmm.
if you're in even if you're in a theater city,
Hmm.
as I said, you don't need to go to a tier one city to get a job, right?
Okay. Hmm.
In your city also there will be a small company,
Correct. Yeah.
but go and learn from them also.
Hmm.
If let's say somebody is in a small city and somebody is doing a good job, so having a own company and doing a good job, which means they're doing something right,
Correct.
है ना?
Right.
So if you go
Hmm.
and meet that person and learn, spend a month there, spend 2 months there, that's also okay.
Hmm.
With that knowledge, you apply somewhere else. Because the moment you go to a bigger city or a tier one or tier two city, you have to relocate. You need to
Okay.
travel. You need to
Hmm.
keep that factor in mind. So,
Right.
so you need to. So the point is how much you are committed to your goal comes with your own intent. Because you see, आज बोलने के लिए if you decide to go to a big city and you take up an internship with any company and you
Hmm.
realize, oh, this is not what I wanted to do,
Hmm.
but you
And
have
plus
spent
the
so much.
expense,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
the
you have spent a lot
everything,
of time,
correct,
you have
yeah.
spent a lot of money, and
Hmm.
you are disappointed in a
Hmm.
unknown place. It takes a lot of mental toll on you.
Correct.
So my suggestion for anybody is start small, pick it up from there. Because wherever you go, you're going to learn by trials and errors.
Hmm.
Some things will go really well, some things will go really bad. But if you sit down and get through that perspective clear, then you can plan step two, step three, and so on and so forth.
Okay, and also for say people who are preparing for CAT next year. So if they want to do a summer internship somewhere and all, so how do you think they should approach a company? Like they should just write something or call them or contact them on LinkedIn. But then
Yes,
what
yes,
if they are
definitely,
not?
definitely. So,
But
so
very
yeah,
few people might contact you back
correct.
on
That's
LinkedIn
right.
and all that.
That's right.
So is there any other steps that they can do? Anything?
No, see, there are two aspects which I said. One, of
Mm-hmm.
course, when you approach somebody,
Hmm.
you can go through reference. You know,
Correct.
that's one option.
Hmm.
Another option is you do cold calling, which I said.
Right.
You may call 100 people, probably
Hmm.
10 will show interest,
Correct.
and probably in the end, two will say, ki, haan, these are the two things. And
Hmm.
maybe one will say, okay, now
Hmm.
do it. Because see, we shouldn't take that everything will be available to us for granted,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
We may be from the best B schools of the world, or we may
Yes.
be from a tier 3 B school also. But
Yes.
the opportunity does not discriminate you basis your education background.
Correct.
It is up to you to grab it
Hmm.
and
Correct.
then make the
Yeah.
most of it.
Hmm.
Sometimes and again, then also there's no guarantee that
Hmm.
you will get
Yeah.
the desired result, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So you have
So
to just prepare
you
yourself,
have
and
to.
of course, also keep having backups also. Like,
Yes,
okay, if not these kind of companies, maybe I should go for these kind of companies,
yes,
and then
yes,
something, and you never know. Maybe after 4 months, suddenly when you've stopped looking for, and then that person might just answer, and it
exactly,
might just work
exactly,
out. Yeah, you never know.
exactly.
Things can work out.
So,
Yeah. So okay. Also, there was a question about okay. My question. The how of course AI and ML has disrupted every field, every
correct.
function, but how is it impacted brand management? Is it a good thing that now digital marketing and everything, ChatGPT and all, is it helping, or is it creating too many loopholes in the branding of a particular product? And
Sure.
also checking, as in quality check. Like earlier, there was only one medium, so either a TV or a hoarding, and now there are like multiple places that you can do many things. And yeah, so
Yeah.
how is it impacting?
I'll give two examples here.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
AI, for example, let me give a context and then the
Hmm.
examples.
Hmm.
Artificial intelligence and machine learning has been there, at least I know, more than 10-15 years.
Hmm.
Okay. Because when I was doing my engineering, I remember reading about it. I remember doing projects on it in my college. And back then it was just there were various concepts that I was learning, right?
Correct.
Then the industry started adopting it. But then but it was more a business to business products, it was not something that a customer like you and me could play with or work with it. An example I'll give
Hmm.
here is your Google search results.
Hmm.
Okay. It is not that somebody sitting behind Google is actually giving you the results.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
let's imagine there are close to about 4 billion people who are having an internet access today. So if even if let's say 50% of them are doing live queries on Twitter, sorry, on Google,
Hmm.
that's 2 billion queries in a given second. So there has to be some kind of algorithms, there have to be some kind of intelligent systems in place who can predict and give the right answers.
Right.
So that's where
Hmm.
artificial intelligence and chunks of data of machine learning comes into play.
Correct.
Another example here is when you go to any website, when you're registering your profile or your account, there is something called a captcha that you punch in, right?
Hmm.
Captcha is a
Yes.
way in which you
Hmm.
are training the computer how to behave like a human. Not a
Right.
lot of people know that.
Okay. Well,
So
we usually say, yeah, you are not a confirm, you are not a robot.
correct, right? So you are just
Yeah.
teaching the computer
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
what is not to be a robot and therefore what is to be a
Ah,
human.
okay. So we all are actually teaching.
You're teaching the computer.
Hmm.
Another case, next time you do a captcha, it says
Hmm.
select where are the street signs,
Yes,
select where the
yeah.
car. You are telling the computer actually
Correct,
that
correct.
this is so that's so interesting thing here is that's how compute. So today when you say today your AI is knows how to create an image, how to make a
Correct.
video, how to write a
It's because
text,
us, we have
you were
hacked.
teaching them.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
for good 10-15 years, these
Hmm.
platforms have learned these things. And today, you know, through ChatGPT or Gen AI or any other thing, today the normal layman can use it as per whether to write an essay, whether to write a story, whether to make a video film out of it, and so on and so forth. So
Correct.
that's the context I wanted to give here and some
Hmm.
examples. But from a brand management point of view, it is important to learn about these things as much as you can.
Hmm.
Okay, again, you don't need to go in depth, become a PhD scholar in it, but having the foundational information is important because your customers are actually using it to do something. Now,
Correct.
here I'll give an example of so today's the next generation is after the Gen Z is called the Gen Alpha,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who are today less than 15 years old and they have born with a mobile phone in their hand.
Yes.
They don't know a world where televisions were existing or newspaper existed or even radio. They only know
Hmm.
mobile phone, tuck, 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 watch videos, and that's their
Correct.
life.
Hmm.
Those kids, today when they want to ask a question, they don't Google.
Hmm.
They are more comfortable asking, these kind of tools, what
Hmm.
is the answer to the problem to this question? And the
Correct.
computer gives them a big prompt. It could be a short prompt, it could be a big essay, and that's how they're learning. So when
Hmm.
people say this generation is the most educate not informative, yes,
Hmm.
they're informative because they have easy access to information,
Correct.
does not make them smart.
But also the information is biased sometimes,
Exactly,
because
that is also true. That is
whatever
also
you
true.
fed in the computer, the
Exactly.
AI will be only churning
It
out
will
that.
only
Yeah.
learn, it will only learn what is taught to it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So brands have to
Hmm.
understand this nuance of how
Correct.
your customer behavior is changing.
Okay.
which is why
Hmm.
today the Googles of the world are scared of a chat GPT, because the
Yes.
customer, the new customer will may not want to do this. So,
Correct.
but so here I give another example. Such technological shifts have always happened in history. If you look,
Yes.
the- from modern history point of view, the
Hmm.
first jump was newspapers when they came.
Hmm.
When television came, people thought, "अरे newspaper बंद हो जाएगा,
And radio भी बंद हो
radio भी बंद हो
जाएगा.
जाएगा," right?
Yeah,
But
but
they all
yeah,
existed.
correct. They all existed.
Then when your computer started, people thought computerization is coming, it'll kill all the jobs in all the industries.
Hmm.
Nothing happened. They are
Hmm.
also there.
Hmm.
These industries are also there. When
Correct.
OTT
Yeah.
came, everybody said television will not exist. Everybody will watch Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Hmm.
Today, they all exist.
Hmm.
Cut to say mobile phones. When they came, people are like, telephone will die. No, mobile phone
Hmm.
exists. Telephone exists. Today, tablets, laptops,
Yeah.
everything is there. So we need to be positive about this thing. Ki such things will be there. You have to
Hmm.
evolve. You have to be willing to learn and prepare yourself for such scenarios.
Hmm.
So I think that is the takeaway that a brand manager should always have. Ki there'll always be something जो आपको नहीं पता है,
Hmm.
but you should be willing to learn it.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
then you will become better at the job. And that is what I think every CEO or CXO who is there today, they are good at this. So if you want to
Hmm.
be somebody like that, let me assure you, you need to be learning every single day. And one additional suggestion I would give is please read newspaper. Don't
Hmm.
read your short news. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. True.
Reading a good newspaper, any
Hmm.
newspaper, it
Hmm.
could be a Hindi, it could be English, it could be any language,
Hmm.
but reading you because it helps you in multiple ways. It improves your vocabulary. It helps you with good because every article is written with a lot of research,
Correct.
and there is a lot of logical reasoning that goes into it. So your
Hmm.
brain gets trained, uh, when you do this again and again and again. So
Correct.
I would like to would reiterate that a lot of people, when I go to for interviews of students, I often
Hmm.
find that
Hmm.
they don't read newspapers, and that comes out.
Hmm.
That's not a bad thing that you don't read, but it comes out in other aspects.
Correct.
When
Yeah.
we put you on the spot and you ask you some situations, many times it's the way you communicate
Correct.
comes out to be very weak, and therefore
Hmm.
I would suggest that please look into
Sure.
this.
Okay.
Uh, you know,
But so tell me, what are the things that usually an interviewer who's sitting to hire a brand manager, what are they looking for? Are there any parameters that you say, things that they
See,
would?
if you're looking for an FMCG brand
Hmm.
management,
Hmm.
definitely they will be looking at sales and marketing,
Okay.
okay? Because it is the core of the business.
Okay.
And especially if you have experience, very good, work
Hmm.
ex. If you don't have, it's okay. I'm assuming that the candidate has done something related to sales in their curriculum. They have studied it. They have done some projects on it, or if they have done their internships around it.
Hmm.
Okay, that's
Correct.
one way, one checkpoint. If let's assume you have not done sales and marketing, but you still want to be a brand manager,
Hmm.
you can still apply for it. There is no problem there. Then
Okay.
the intent of the interviewer is to understand how good you are at what you have done, not theoretically, but from an
Hmm.
application point of view. How does that mean? I'll explain. I will question you different scenarios
Hmm.
where I would force you to apply your mind.
Hmm.
It will not, these will be hypothetical scenarios, they could be real case scenarios, and you may not be able to, you may not be familiar with them, and you
Hmm.
may not have the right answer also.
Okay.
But that's okay. I am more interested to understand how do you think, how do you approach that problem, and
Correct.
how do you go step by step to solve it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Okay. Hmm.
that's therefore that problem solving ability, your intent to logical reasoning and good communication are very important. That's I think also what is being tested in your CAT exams. Your quant ability, your data interpretation, your logical reasoning, and your communication. Those are
Hmm.
all these four parameters which you are appearing for in your exams are
Correct.
actually applied in the real world.
Hmm.
After your 2 years. So your MBA helps you to do is a finishing school which helps you use them better, finesse them better, and then apply them in the real world.
Does a bachelor's in food technology help in getting into brand management and FMCG brands?
Yeah, definitely,
It
definitely, it
helps.
helps.
Yeah.
It helps
It
because
adds. Yeah.
because if you have a foundation in food technology or dairy
Hmm.
technology or oil engineer, oil technology also,
Hmm.
it helps because you if you spend 3 to 4 years, you know something about it that which can add value to
Hmm.
the job, you know.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
and that does not mean somebody who has a commerce background cannot. They can also
Okay.
do it.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so please have to think this way that whatever skill sets you have, they
Hmm.
all help you and the organization because as I said, you need to be doing multiple types of licensing and coordination, and therefore, whatever you bring to the table only improves your candidature and
Correct.
not brings you down.
Correct. Okay. Okay. The last two questions. One is your typical life, a typical day as a brand manager. What all happens? And yeah, last is tips. So yeah, first, yeah, typical day as a brand
Typical
manager.
day, very short and sweet. I'll keep it because I know I've taken a lot of your time.
Yeah. No, I have taken a lot of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So typical day, as I said, starts with a lot of spreadsheets because you get a lot of
Okay.
reports about what is happening, like what happened yesterday, you know.
Hmm.
So you do day-to-day monitoring of what is the things in place, the processes in place.
Correct.
Some things would be easy, I mean, some things would be going well, some
Hmm.
things may go haywire, something will go absolutely chaotic, right?
Yeah.
And it may happen in different parts of the country. For
Hmm.
like example I gave, I have butter. I have 10
Yeah.
types of butter. They will all behave differently in different parts of the country.
Correct.
And you need to ensure that the inventory is on time. You need to ensure the distribution is happening correctly. You need to ensure the customer who is purchasing at that shop is able to have the top of mind recall कि मुझे अमूल का लेना है, मुझे किसी और का नहीं लेना है.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so parallelly, there are different functions at at each interventions that are happening. For again, for which each के लिए अलग-अलग reports आपको मिलते जाएंगे. So you
Okay.
need to therefore pick it up, solve it. Sometimes खुद कर सकते हैं. Sometimes you need to speak to somebody. Sometimes you need to involve your bosses also. So that is typically the day, how it starts.
Hmm.
And around that, in between, to for each of these problems, you will find some solutions plus
Hmm.
planning
Okay.
planning for the future, like the
Hmm.
example I gave of Janmashtami. you
Hmm.
know you if you know कि अगले महीने या अगले 10 दिन में या अगले 2 महीने में something is going to happen. How
Hmm.
do I prepare for it sufficiently in advance so that on the D-Day you are there with your product to sell it to your customer? Because one thing which I missed out saying is in our business they say जो दिखता है वो बिकता है,
दिखता है.
right? So अगर
Correct.
आप as a
Hmm.
customer are going to that shop and if our product is not available, then we have missed that opportunity.
Correct. Yes.
So planning is important and is an important part of the job. Planning can involve back-end planning, front-end planning, communication planning, launching a new product. That is a big another
Hmm.
you know
Hmm.
scenario altogether. How do you go about it? So these are different ways in which a brand
Correct.
manager works through their day. Something
Hmm.
amongst these four might be happening parallelly, might be
Hmm.
having one at a time also. So this is
Correct.
typically how it works.
Okay. And before we
Yeah.
sign off, tips for all our CAT aspirants as well as for people who are aspiring to be brand managers. What all other things they can do?
Right.
Yeah.
One thing I know, as I said
Yeah.
earlier, please do read
Hmm.
newspapers.
Yes.
Okay, articles अच्छे खासे पढ़िए. If you
Correct.
can't read the whole newspaper, take the editorials.
Hmm.
Okay, take any paper. The editorials of the paper of every newspaper are really good, well
Hmm.
researched, thought through. That's one. Two. try to look at the same situation in a different perspective, which I gave the example of the fruit seller, you know,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
for that matter, anybody else with whom you are interacting. It could be
Correct.
your brother, it could be your father, it could be your mother, it could be your sister, it could be anybody in your life
Hmm.
जिनको आपने सालों से देखा है doing the same job, but you never bothered to ask them how do you do it, or
Correct.
what goes behind it.
Hmm.
When you start, discussing, you will learn so many things about it, and it'll help you.
Correct.
Third, when you create simulations,
Hmm.
it could be simulations which a training institute gives you for
Hmm.
interviews. It could be talking to some of the peers, sorry, some of the students who are already doing their MBAs. How did they experience it? How was
Hmm.
their learning? Did it go good, bad? What are the do's and don'ts in an interview? What types of questions are being asked?
Right.
That helps you. And eventually on the D-Day, as I said, keep calm. This too shall pass. And
Hmm.
if this does not work, don't be disheartened. There is always going to be another opportunity which will come your
Yeah. Okay. And any tips for MICA interview?
No, all of the above applies to them.
Hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, sorry, one last thing. You don't have to be creative if you
Yeah.
take it.
Hmm.
You are creative in your own way. Please
Hmm.
have faith in yourself.
Oh yeah, there was one question
Yeah.
that I was thinking of asking about. If you can you recommend any books that might help somebody to understand brand management in a more fun way, and maybe a documentary or movies?
There is one for marketing, or is it for management?
Brand management,
Brand
brand
management.
management, yeah.
Uh, so
Or
for
movies or
okay,
documentary that kind of,
is more
or
easily digestible.
yeah. And also
Uh,
marketing. Okay, fine. Marketing is well there. Some
Okay,
things
okay.
are
No, so
some.
I think if you
Hmm.
watch the couple of movies that I think which really
Hmm.
help you is there is a movie called The Founder, which is on McDonald's story. Okay,
Okay. The
how
founder.
that happened.
Hmm.
I would also recommend a movie called Mamuli Ram, which is about how Amul started. Okay,
Okay. Hmm.
it's on YouTube,
Amulia.
free. You
Okay.
don't have to pay anywhere. Okay.
Hmm.
You can also watch a film on the Facebook. It's called The Social Network. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, and there is one movie called, it's a black and white movie called 12 Angry Men.
Oh, that's a amazing
Okay.
movie.
That, so
That
each of these
yeah.
movies will give you a different
Hmm.
perspective about
Correct.
marketing, about
Hmm.
management, about people.
Hmm.
Uh, because there is no one answer कि ये देखने से सब हो जाएगा,
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
right? So I'm giving you different scenarios, different
Hmm.
movies which will uh, change your perspective to deal with.
Hmm.
Okay. And I think that would help you become a better person and see yourself in a different way. Uh, Plus, there are tons of documentaries on your Netflix and
Hmm.
Prime.
Correct.
But then see, there is one thing which is watching, and then
Hmm.
one thing which is learning out of it. So, many times because you're watching something in the flow, you'll just skip the important aspect of that.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know?
True.
So take your time, when you're dealing with this or you're doing this. But I'm sure uh, each of these four films, which I mentioned, The Founder, Mamuli Ram, The Social Network,
And the 12 Angry
and
Men.
12 Angry Men.
Mhm.
Uh, I would definitely say 12 Angry Men more
Yeah.
than the other two
Yes. Yeah.
because
He
many
completely turned the entire table.
see because
Hmm.
let me put it this way, in MICA also we had a
Hmm.
course called individual behavior and organization behavior.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
and the exam was a case study on the movie. So we were told,
Okay. Hmm.
please go watch this movie, and next day you'll get a question paper on that.
Okay.
So we didn't know what the questions would be,
Hmm.
but you had to watch that movie and make notes of what is happening, how
Hmm.
12 people are being influenced by themselves, and the
Correct.
entire decision which they took in the beginning changes in
Hmm.
the end. And
Correct.
that is
Yeah.
exactly what happens
Hmm.
in a corporate world.
Hmm.
It
Correct.
could take one person.
You spoiled it for them.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay,
In a way.
but they need to learn it, you know.
Yes,
If
yeah.
you don't watch it, you'll not understand how it,
Correct.
you know,
Yeah,
because in that
exactly.
that movie gives you facts, it gives you
Hmm.
uh, the way to negotiate.
Hmm.
And the same thing in the movie. And if I would also like to hereby also talk about Mamuli Ram, because it's a
Hmm.
story of Dr. Kurian, you know,
Yeah,
how
okay. Hmm.
you all and everybody who's sitting here has seen Amul as a product.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
how did Amul start?
Hmm.
Who were the people behind it?
Hmm.
How do you get a bunch of farmers to come together, set up the world's
Correct.
largest food brand, right?
Correct.
India's
Yeah.
biggest FMCG brand.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly.
what are the challenges, marketing challenges, organization challenges that took place? So, I think uh, apart from because I've been in Amul, I know how what went
Hmm.
behind it, but the common man may not. So, I
Correct.
would
Yeah.
suggest that please do watch these two things.
Hmm.
12 Angry Men is there on, I think, Prime.
Yeah. Hmm.
YouTube mein Mamuli Ram is there. It's about
Hmm.
1 hour only, but I'm sure you will
Hmm.
enjoy it. And then any other movie as per your understand.
Yeah, all right, okay. That's all the time we have for this session. And before we wrap up, I would like to thank all the attendees for all the questions, and my special thanks to our speaker, Abhishek Varughese. Thank you so much for all the insights on brand management. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for having me here once again. Take care. Bye bye.